Hi everyone, welcome back to my leadership podcast. This is episode 2. In my first episode, I talked a little bit about how I initially saw myself as a leader, a few of the qualities and traits that I thought I possessed before this course. And I have had a few realizations after these few chapters that I have learned in this class. And since then, I have learned more about how I actually show up in leadership situations, and especially in work and group settings. One of my biggest realizations I've had is that I am much more of a relationship-oriented leader than I originally thought. I am very empathetic. I do care about how people feel, the value and the trust and comfort within a team. And this class has helped me understand those qualities and how they're just not only personality traits, but they're leadership behaviors that I can use as a leader and improve those skills as well and incorporate those in my leadership roles and skills. So one concept that really stood out to me was the behavioral approach to leadership, which focuses on what leaders do rather than who they are. Learning about task-oriented versus relationship-oriented behaviors made leadership feel more realistic and something I could work on and improve on. Being more of a relationship-oriented leader has made me more confident in being a leader that way, as I'm focusing more on emotions and people. But also I have realized that task-oriented is something I can work on and improve those skills as well, since they aren't my strength, but learning that both of those differences and learning how I can balance both of them, I know will lead me to becoming a better leader. As I reflected on my experiences in this class, I've noticed that I naturally focus on the people side first. I check in with others, I make sure everyone feels heard, and I try to create a comfortable environment before jumping into tasks. For example, in this class, we do go into groups a lot, and the majority of the time, well, as of right now, we all don't know each other. We're just placed in this group, and we are all strangers in a sense. And so what I have noticed that I do is once we are placed into our groups, the first thing I do is I kind of just introduce myself, and I make everyone feel comfortable and make everyone feel like we're all friends, and we're in this class together. We are all learning, and it's nothing to be afraid of. And so I have noticed that's just my first instinct, to just make everyone feel comfortable. And I've noticed that after doing that, everyone kind of just feels okay to come together and bring in what each one has to say. According to the course material, that's exactly what relationship-oriented leaders do. And yeah, so basically I've just noticed that once, I've talked and just kind of made everyone comfortable, everyone just seems to open up and not be as afraid to share, and that's when we all start contributing, and that's when the teamwork starts to happen. And so yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and I'm excited, and I like that I do have that skill, because I also like to feel comfortable. It can be very intimidating at first, being in a group and completing an assignment with a team, and nobody knows each other, and some people are shy and some people are afraid to speak up. So having someone that's kind of there and makes you feel like you can talk to them as a friend before anything else has been working very well, and I like that. And so I also like that I have realized that is something I can do for others. So I have been applying this new leadership style directly into my group work for this class and for my other class as well. Compared to my past groups, I've been more intentional about communication. I ask for everyone's input, clarifying expectations in a supportive way, and I make sure no one feels left out. And I've noticed that when people feel comfortable and respected, they're more willing to contribute and help each other out. And so I've also noticed a big difference in my social media marketing class because I have a group project currently. And before taking this course, I either took on too much or I stayed quiet just to avoid conflict. So now I am more confident in speaking up while also being considerate of everyone else and allowing everyone to have their time. And that has just made collaboration more smooth and more effective, and have noticed that this in my social media class, in this group that we now have, we all are getting closer, as in more comfortable with each other. We're not afraid to speak up, and we after getting to know each other, there's a sense of trust. Even I've noticed after getting to know everybody and the wall of not knowing and seeing ourselves as just students in the same class, after building this new relationship that we all are here for one reason. We're passionate about marketing, and we're passionate about being creative, and we're passionate about having, getting a good grade in class and in this project. We're working better and we're more effective than compared to my past group experiences where we never settled that relationship, and we never settled those goals. So that outcome was not the best, but now I have a really good feeling about this project. I have a really good feeling about this team, and I know we are going to work great together. So yeah, just overall, this course has helped me understand a lot about leadership and a lot about these relationships and what it takes to work as a team and take on the role as a leader. Something else that I do want to bring up is that the leadership grid also has helped me understand my style. While the best leaders balance concern for people and concern for production, I realized my strength is concern for people. Instead of seeing that as a weakness, I've learned how it actually supports productivity by creating trust and teamwork. When you think of a leader, you think of someone that is not as emotional, and that it might be a bad thing. But this course has really helped me understand that it might not be a weakness, but instead a strength. And before this course, I really didn't know that. I saw being emotional and concerned about feelings and relationships wasn't really business related or leadership related. You hear about a leader and you automatically think of them as emotionless and strict and task oriented, but after that one chapter where we learned about relationship oriented, it opened my eyes to a new possibility and a new way of seeing leadership. And I'm just very excited that I have this new knowledge about including that empathetic side of me and caring for people, and viewing it as an ability and a skill that will help teamwork and will help, being a good leader and getting closer and fulfilling everybody's goals and fulfilling my goal overall. But yes, that said, I've been working on improving my task-oriented skills. Now knowing that I am more stronger in the relationship side, and knowing that there is the task-oriented side, I know I need to improve on that. And to help improve that, I have been working on my organizational skills, organizing tasks, setting deadlines, and just keeping the group on track. That's never been one of the things that I've spoken up about in the past, because in past group experiences, I've always had, or I've always worked with somebody that was more of their strength, and they kind of take on that role, and I've let them kind of do that. But I am more confident in a way now, knowing more about it, and I do want to practice on that. I do want to get better with that. So I have been for example, for my social media class, there is someone that is way more productive in that area, and has kind of taken that role of, okay, I'm setting the deadlines, and this is what we're gonna do, and this is when we're gonna get this finished, and this is when we're gonna have our meetings. But there was a moment where I wanted to kind of practice that, and I did speak up, and I was like putting in my input, and I did offer to schedule a few meetings. I did offer to send in a few reminders for everybody, and I have noticed that it isn't as difficult as I thought, and it did make me more confident in knowing that there can be multiple people in the group doing that. It's more helpful. And so yes, after mentioning a little bit about the growth in the task skills, I want to mention some of the skills that I have developed, that I've noticed I've developed. One of the biggest skills I have developed is my communication, especially active listening. I focus on understanding before responding. I've always been a very good listener, but I do notice that I'm so eager sometimes to jump in and include myself, or if I have a thought, I want to get it out right away. But I have noticed, after learning a few things, what I have been applying to these new group projects and these new group assignments, is that I am listening first before I say anything. I'm listening, and I'm trying to understand their input. I'm trying to understand if they have any questions. I'm trying to understand their side of anything. And then after taking a second to evaluate everything, that's when I step in, and then I include my input and include what I have to say, how I feel, or any questions, or if I have any answers to their questions. That's when I include and insert myself in the conversation. So I have noticed that is a new skill I've developed. I've also learned, obviously, that I've said this before, but I just want to wrap it all up and conclude that I've learned that empathy is a leadership skill, and it helps build trust and reduce tension in group settings. But yes, those are the two skills that I have developed, and I am doing better. But yes, overall, this course has changed how I view leadership. I can already see my growth. I can already see all the skills I am slowly developing, and I do see the difference in now how I lead in groups, and compared to my other ones, I do see a great difference. And so I'm just excited to continue developing more skills and developing these new skills acquired. And as the course goes on, I'm just very excited to see my growth, my overall growth in leadership. And yes, and also the weaknesses. I am excited to call them no longer weaknesses, but call them my strengths as well. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in episode 3. Thank you. Bye.